Welcome students to my channel Learning Made Easy. Today we'll be dealing with working of human heart. I am Mrs. Marks, retired principal and a PGT biology working for the last 32 years, and I hope this video will help you learn how our heart is working. Human heart, the working has already been discussed in the previous episode, and in this episode we'll be learning about how it is working. Now, to start with the working of heart, we have 4 chambers of heart as already discussed, 2 auricles, 2 ventricles. Now the 2 auricles that is the right auricle and the left auricle, they're receiving blood from the lungs, that is oxygenated blood, and receiving blood from the body, that is deoxygenated blood. Then the auricles will give blood to the ventricles and the ventricles finally to the big arterioles. Today we will see how the heart muscles are working and how they are able to circulate blood in the body. In the left auricle, we have a node which is placed between the opening of precaval and the postcaval. This node is present between the opening of precaval and opening of postcaval. This is a small patch of muscles known as SA node. The SA node, which is called as sino-auricular node. This node starts the wave of contraction. An electric impulse is given and starts the contraction of the auricles. This wave of contraction helps both the auricles to contract. This contraction of the auricles is called as auricular systole. Now this node also starts the contraction in the second node. This node is called as AV node. AV node, the full form of AV node is auriculoventricular node. Now this node, which is present at the end of the right auricle, gets the wave of contraction from the SA node. This node contracts and sends the waves of contraction to the bundle of His. The bundle of His is placed in the ventricular walls . These are called as Purkinje fibers. As the node is stimulated, so is this bundle of His. Bundle of His stimulates the interventricular wall to contract, and as a result both ventricles, they contract simultaneously. This is called as ventricular systole. Now as both the ventricles contract, they will be forcing blood into the semilunar valves of the big blood vessels. These big blood vessels are aorta and pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery taking deoxygenated blood to the lungs, while the aorta taking oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. This oxygenated blood will give energy to the various cells and tissues of the body, while the deoxygenated blood is taken to the lungs, as already been discussed in the first episode, where it has to be oxygenated again, that is leaving carbon dioxide, taking up oxygen and coming back to the heart. This is called the complete contraction and relaxation. The contraction of the auricles called as auricular systole. The contraction of the ventricles called as ventricular systole, and the contraction of the the relaxation of the complete heart is called as auricular ventricular diastole or cardiac diastole. This completes the heart cycle. The AV node gives bundle of His. HIS, bundle of His, is written in capital because this is supposed to be a bundle given by the God to us. The next fibers which arise from bundle of His are called as Purkinje fibers. These carry the electrical wave of conduction throughout the ventricular walls and allow them to contract. Now, when we are talking about the contraction and relaxation, we are actually talking about the cardiac cycle. Now, the cardiac cycle can be represented by three distinct phases. This is auricular systole. That means contractions of the auricle. And this is a very short cycle, taking just 0.1 second. A very short duration. The second is ventricular systole. ventricular systole also takes a short period but more than auricular systole, and it consumes almost 0.3 seconds. Both auricles and ventricles, once they have contracted, they need a relaxation period, and this relaxation period is called joint diastole. It takes a time of 0.4 seconds. Together, all these events are called as cardiac cycle. This small period of systole and diastole can be completed 72 times per minute, and this is also called as the pulse of human beings. The auricular systole and the ventricular systole, they give two sounds which are called as heart sounds. They are lub, and the second sound is dub. These are called as heart sounds. This is usually what the doctor hears and tells you whether your heart is working in a perfect condition or not. Lub is the sound when the bicuspid and the tricuspid valve open up. The first auriculoventricular valve is bicuspid and tricuspid. When they open up, the sound which is produced by them is called as lub. The second sound is dub. Dub is the closure of semilunar valves. After the contraction of the ventricles, the blood is sent to the big vessels, that is the aorta and the pulmonary artery. As soon as the semilunar valves close, they produce the second sound of the heart, which is called as dub. So the heart sounds are lub and dub, which are used by the doctors to tell how your heart is working. So today we have done cardiac cycle, which is auricular systole, ventricular systole, and joint diastole. Joint diastole is sometimes also called as cardiac diastole. That is the rest period for the auricles and the ventricles to relax. The auricles, ventricles, as they contract, they have a relaxation period which is called as diastole. So the systole and the diastole, they're normally used by the doctors to denominate your blood pressure. Systolic and diastolic blood pressure. We will be discussing them as we come to the next composition of blood. So we have systole, 0.1 second for auricles, systole 0.3 second for ventricles, and a joint diastole which is 0.4 seconds. Then we have two heart sounds, lub and dub. Lub produced by the bicuspid and the tricuspid valve as they open up, and dub produced by the semilunar valves as they close. This dub sound marks the end of the systolic cycle and the beginning of the diastolic cycle of the heart.